My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Shadows over Loathing. At the end of the last episode, we had discovered a lot of the missions that we are going to require performation of in Crystal Dream Lake. Although, there's a little bit still outstanding here that we need to pick up. Okay, first off, someone alerted me that apparently I haven't even tried the locks on Securibus, and I've just been assuming that they require a key because it says it needs keys, but maybe it don't. The door's locks are modeled on the monstrous mugs of the great hound Cerberus, three-headed guardian of the underworld's banking sector. Each of the three heads has a name: Phylax, Methapon, and Sneaky Pete, and a keyhole deep in its maw. I'm gonna unlock Sneaky Pete. That's strange, the key turns over and over in the lock, but nothing happens. Something sneaky about this Pete, alright. Unlock Methapon. The key fits in the hole alright, but it's a labyrinth in a cylinder. You turn and turn in here, click after click, but nothing results. And Phylax. The head of Phylax lets the key inside easily enough, but offers up incredible resistance when you try to turn it. Heracles would have had to use up all 12 labors just to get this thing going. Alright then, let's see what we can do about these statistics. Also, thank you very much to the commenter who made me aware that the buff that you get from the bar, ooh baby, a cut of the profits, we get 97 meat. The buff that we get from the bar here does not count as our potion buff slot. So we can have one of these, which is probably just gonna be wine, in addition to something else. So how high can I mox my Getty? Well, see, the thing about that is, not especially high. Can I get it one higher than it currently is? Because currently I feel like I'm equipped for combat. Oh, one of these pants? Got some cool pants? No, we do not have any cool pants. We've got the Fort Bomb Egg Ring. That's not going to help us in this instance. None of these are going to give us additional moxie, unfortunately. No, not at all. Okay, if I'm looking to maximize my moxie, the game is telling me, you know what? You are done. You have maximized your moxie. Well then, sure, let's check our character. What effects do we have? Well, I got a broken rib, so I can apparently wash that off. I've got plus one moxie from a potion. If I can get moxie from food as well right now, we'll be absolutely off to the races. It cost me 44 experience at the moment. I don't think I can upgrade anything with 44 experience at the moment either. Another thing I've been made aware of is that sardines are being sold in one of the stores. Government-issued sardines, there we go. Hang on. Oh right, question mark on the DB Scholar Grenade, we have seen those before. Government-issued sardines, I'm going to take a copy of those for a certain kitty cat that may enjoy. It's not our own kitty cat back in Murray's Antiques, right? I don't think it's Calliope. It is Calliope! Calliope is still sleeping on her towel. I'm gonna feed her. New cat unlocked! You open the can of sardines, and Calliope immediately wakes up, devours the entire can, and then purrs as she licks the remaining oil from your fingers. Looks like you've made a new friend! New cat unlocked! You can now pet Calliope. I was about to say Palette, as in like trying to portmanteau pet and Calliope. You can now pet Calliope to receive a boon. Yeah, pet. You give her nice scritching, and she purrs and goes back to sleep. You gain an effect Calliope's boon, +1 to physical armor. Calliope's affections have reinforced you against the slings and arrows and mice and birds of the world. No outrageous misfortune shall take you. Okay. Don't need to do my whole the chess gambit. Not a particularly successful one for us. We just get outplayed constantly. Who else? Who else? Who else? I don't think there's anything else here in the Watchful Eye for us. So let's make our way out on the lam. First location, some Polycarps. Although we've been waylaid, You're unexpectedly surrounded by 3 Glocklins menacingly playing their glockenspiels at you, which is a real trick if you think about it. Hey, what gives?
This is a muggery. We insist that you, to all of us, you might give.
What? All of it? That's crazy.
I guess that is a little extreme. So, 8 meat?
I'm gonna pay him 8 meat. Absolutely. That's an absolute bargain of a mugging, thank you. You hand over your meat, the goblins thank you politely and strut away. Now apparently, I already had run into, yeah, there we go, a big box of spare urns. There's plenty in here, so the vicar won't miss just one. Besides, you've earned it. I swear there's some of the jokes here that if I did not have to read them out loud, I wouldn't have necessarily gotten them. Not like they're extremely deep, mine just... it hits the ear in a particular way. Okay. This goes to Dirch's house. Glocklins are playing. I'm just gonna join in dancing and then leave. No harm, Glocklin. Let's replace this urn. You glance over to make sure that Captain Dirch is sleeping and deftly swap the urns. You got an item, an urn of cremains. Cremated remains, those are. The urns of ashes, sorry, an urn of ashes that was borrowed to play the part of one of the captain's old crew. The name plaque on it is too old and weathered to be read. Let's just return this to its proper resting place in St. Polycarp's. I'm gonna say yes, here you go. Sure, here you go. The man tips his hat to you. Thank you kindly. This will be just the thing I need to ensure that something will be on fire at some point in the future. 5 experience, smile and leave. Honestly, if a match gives me 5 experience every single time I trade one away, excellent. Works for me. I will happily do it until the day I die. Alright. Fancy pedestal with nothing on it at the moment. Maybe I'll go up here and return it directly.
Oh, it's you! Have you found our missing ashes yet?
I did, yeah, here you go.
Wonderful! I'll get this polished and reinstalled right away. Blessings upon you, my child. In fact, let me make that blessing literal. I have some holy water of St. Polycarp around here somewhere. Here we go.
He takes out a little bottle of water and splashes some on your forehead. You get a perk, St. Polycarp's forehead, hell yeah. Your forehead has been anointed with the blessing of St. Polycarp, the patron saint of bodybuilders. Ow, that hurt a little. Which I say as a result of being haunted. Say, whose ashes are in that urn anyway?
Unfortunately, we don't know his name, but he was a sailor who washed ashore near here after a shipwreck. Some of the locals took him in, but he didn't survive the night, poor fellow. He was interned here as an act of charity.
Was that about 50 years ago, give or take?
Oh no, it was more like 300 years ago.
Oh, interesting. Definitely not Dirch's friend, then. Have you... Yes, put it back in its proper location. A fancy pedestal with an urn on it. What a weird little adventure that was. I want to talk to the urn. Ahoy there! Everything shipshape? Need any smokes? I guess I shouldn't mess around. Yeah, what was I expecting, a response?
Yes, I was expecting a possible response.
Just a little bit, come on, a little bit. Alright, where do I need to go next? There's a fight in the chop shop that maybe calls our name. I feel like there is another bamboozlery that I could deploy upon the world at this point in time. Where is that bamboozlery? One final look at our to-do list tells us that we have no, at least on-map side quests left in this area. Cats and their boons, I've only got one of those from Calliope. I mean, there is a second cat, right, in this location? Because if I'm collecting cats, Surely what I need to do is go get myself some more sardines. A pebble next to the sidewalk catches your eye. Using that exact same eye, you determine it's no ordinary pebble. It's a petrified espresso bean. I'm gonna grind it up into some energizing powder and gain myself 5 experience for having done so. Take that, bean! Can I interest you in some fine historical artifacts? Yeah, give me some sardines. Thank you muchly. And where would I be if I were a cat? I mean, I think Dirch had a cat.
Operator!
That account. That account. I am so cyberpunk already that I don't refer to people as people. I refer to them as accounts. Ugh. Alright, Dirch. Yeah, I'll take another paperclip. Why not? I don't need 10 meat as much as I need a paperclip. I may not need a paperclip, but I didn't need that 10 meat at all, so. Ishmael nervously washes himself in the corner. I'm gonna try and pet him. Ishmael shies away from your touch. He must be overall nervous about the state of, nervous about the overall state of affairs in the house. I'm gonna enter the secret door, talk to this guy.
Did you swap out that 5th urn yet?
Yeah, I did.
So great. We swear. Then, everything's Jake.
Look, this is really shady and weird. You should just be honest with the guy.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I gotta build up to it though. If I just pop out of the bookshelf at him, he's liable to have a heart attack. Or try and kill me.
Alright, well, good luck.
Thanks for not blowing my cover, it means a lot to me. To the captain too, even if he doesn't exactly know it.
Uh-huh. You know, is that the resolution that was required? Ishmael contentedly washes himself in the corner. I'm gonna try and pet him.
There we go! Ishmael seems a lot calmer than he did before. New cat unlocked.
You can now pet Ishmael to receive a boon, which I do. I now, I would have to trade Calliope's boon of +1 physical armor, that is, for +1 mysticality from Ishmael's boon. Ishmael's plaintive meowing echoes in your mind. What does that cat know? I'm definitely gonna take the second one. Mysticality, just increasing one of our stats is always something I prefer. Blubberland. I'm gonna get away from this before I before I lose myself again. No need to talk to this. Old man in the chair, something. What's a rhyme for a green moon? Curious. Has the date printed on it. Now, are there any other cats in the local area? As a psychogeologist, I find a little bit more glowing ooze. Is probably nothing new here in the hobo camp. I know I'm being very thorough, but hey, we found a couple of things that are new, and yeah, sure, I got pointed directly to a couple of them, but hey, look, it's fine. I still got him. Rather see the content than not. Okay. None of you are the bamboozled check, are you? Nope. Certainly doesn't look like it immediately. Letters McCabe doesn't seem to immediately have anything about it either. Alright, fine. I think it's time for us to make our way out. So we're looking for the bus stop, B. Crystal Dream Lake. Let's go. We begin chapter 2.
The spooky forest.
Crystal Dream Lake Lighthouse. We enter the keeper's house. You probably ought to introduce yourself before you start poking into stuff. You know what? Sure. Let's do exactly that immediately. The lighthouse keeper, presumably. I talk to him. Excuse me, are you the lighthouse keeper? Sorry to bother you. My name's Ryan who?
Red letter, yellow letter, red letter, yellow letter.
Are you okay?
I talked out loud in a while and I get rusty.
I see. Lighthouse keeping's a pretty lonely job then, huh?
Well, it's solitary, that's for sure. I I ain't minded, though. Ain't exactly a people person. What can I do for you?
Have you seen an old compass around?
The directions kind and the circles kind.
Directions.
Oh, yeah? I got an old one I picked up at a real estate sale about 21 odd years ago, I reckon. I'd show it to you, but it's upstairs and the lighthouse is flooded.
Flooded?
Oh, yeah? Filled up right to the top. Have a look through the window and you might see a fish pass by.
How did that even happen?
Pump broke.
No, I mean, how does a lighthouse just fill up with water? We aren't even below sea level here.
Something to do with the tides, I reckon.
This is a lake.
Anyhow, I need a Claxton valve to fix the pump. There's a hardware store around the road a piece if you got a mind to help out.
Location unlocked, Valley Hardware. All right, buddy. Absolutely. A single book sits on the table. I'm gonna ask him about it. War and Peace, huh? That's a hefty one.
Mind the bookmark now.
Of course. Oh, looks like you just started.
Been reading it about 5.5 years.
Your bookmark is still in chapter 1.
I just about got up to the last sentence of it. I've been reading one word every day.
War and Peace is almost 600,000 words long.
Don't tell me how to end.
I won't. And I don't think you'll ever find out. The lighthouse keeper's bed is simple, but very tiny. Yes! A simple vanity for a simple man. I'm gonna splash some water on my face and clear the effect of a broken rib. An arcane oven for doing some cooking. We know how to do that. A dusty chess set. I'm gonna ask him about it. This is a nice chess set. Did you whittle the pieces yourself?
Took me 16 years.
It took you 6 months to carve each piece?
Bones went quicker than tall ones, but more or less, yeah. The horses are particularly tricky, no sense in rushing them.
I guess not. Wanna play a game?
Okay, already got a game in progress.
The only piece that's moved is a single white pawn.
Oh yeah? I went first. That was about 2 years ago.
Who are you playing with?
Nobody.
Well, here, I'll play you. You push one of the black pawns forward.
Oh, interesting.
It's your turn.
Don't rush me. I want to consider all the possibilities. Come back about 3 or 4 months.
All right, gosh. Not really moving on the timescale the rest of us are. I see. Don't worry, I'm very sympathetic to that friend. Through the window, you can see that the lighthouse tower is entirely filled with water. The lighthouse keeper has put a little cork in the keyhole. What kind of valve was it that you actually needed?
A Claxton valve.
Will any kind of pump work?
Nope, it's a Claxton pump. Needs a Claxton valve.
Wait, is that a style of valve or a brand name?
Both.
Ugh, proprietary hardware is the worst.
Oh yeah.
What does a lighthouse keeper actually do?
Well, used to be I had to light the lamp every sundown and then douse it again at sunrise to save on fuel.
It used to be?
When it was an oil lamp. We got to hook up to the electrical grid a couple years ago now, so now I just leave it on all the time. About all I have to do is change the bulb every once in a while.
It sounds very peaceful.
Oh yeah, that it is. Nice and quiet and plenty of time on my hand.
You must have a bunch of hobbies.
Oh yeah, got a book and a whittling knife and plenty of middle distance staring at.
How'd you get into this line of work?
Oh, my family's always been lighthouse keepers. On both sides. Ma and Pa kept lighthouses within the sight of one another. Used to wink the lights back and forth once in a while.
Aw, that's kind of romantic.
You know, I never did find out how I was actually born.
What?
Anyway, was there something you needed?
Sorry, what kind of valve was that again? And then we'll leave the conversation there. Of course, that's the funky pump control. Oh, that's a classic Claxton pump right there. You can see, on the left side, just about here, that's where the Claxton is. We're light out from this. Why do they call it oven? When you oven the cold food, how about hot eat the food? Is this seriously all the Crystal Dream Lake? No, okay, it's not. Visit beautiful Crystal Dream Lake. There's a distillery, a hardware store. Visit now. I'm certain there's more we'll find as we wander around, a little bit off the beaten path, not necessarily taking the tourists' route. Look, do we go immediately to the hardware store? Maybe. I'm gonna wander around. A huge rotten log is blocking your path through the woods. Well, I mean, it's not blocking it per se, it's just a log. It isn't infinitely log or anything. You can go around it, it just, interrupted you? You know what I mean. Anyway, there's a big rotten log here. Sure, I'm gonna investigate it. The DM described it to me, so that means this is a key object. I investigate Sam Sporkle, the log. You go around to the other side of the log and discover that the shadier, damper side of it is covered in big, weird mushrooms. Neat! Or gross, depending on how you feel about mushrooms. I grab a big handful of this fungus. You grab a large mushroom with both hands and pluck it off of the log. It blinks with two little beady eyes at you and waves two little arms in a thoroughly upset manner. When you drop it on the ground, a second mushroom stands up, making angry noises. And then, as you start to back away, you hear a sort of noise from behind you, and turn to see a third, much larger mushroom cracking its knuckles at you. I played Dark Souls, I don't fight these. Run away, fight Moxie. Fortunately, these mushrooms are not fast enough to stop you from beating a hasty retreat. I mean, they're mushrooms. A fat mushroom would be really unexpected. A fast mushroom would be really unexpected and terrifying. That's 4 experience for us. The trees in this clearing are tagged for felling. Seems some big city construction company plans on crafting a giant crossbow to kill God! Oh, that's why I try not to read ahead. Untie the tags for 4 experience. Not today, big city construction company. Not today. 5 experience for having done so. A little bit more wandering. Obi stops walking and puts a hand to his ear. What's up, Obi? Shh.
You hear that?
I heard you go shh. Is that what you mean?
Guess you ain't so musically inclined. There's some kind of weird singing going off in that direction.
He points deeper into the woods. Nothing wrong with a quick detour, I guess. A quick detour. Obi leads you off the path into the forest. After a short time, he gestures to you to be quiet, and the two of you crouch down behind a shrub and peek out at a small patch of wildflowers. Several large, brightly colored butterflies are flitting among them. That's a word, right? Flitting? As one of the butterflies passes nearby your shrub, you see that instead of a weird insect body, it has a little human body. Wow, these are actual fairies, just like in the fairy tales. One of them is whistling merrily. Not quite a melody. It's more like a surprisingly accurate impression of some kind of a songbird. It's very pretty until it suddenly turns into a squawk, followed by a loud and unpleasant screech, followed by a wet gurgle. The other fairies laugh, raucous, piping little giggles. One of them makes a sound that, if you had to guess, would be the death sound that a squirrel would make. Would be the sound that a squirrel would make while being tortured to death. This sets off another round of shrill laughter. After this, the fairies fly away. As they're leaving, one of them very clearly says, in a deep voice,
"No, not my eye. Not my eye." Ah!
The others find this extra hilarious.
You think we should follow him?
We absolutely should not. Location unlocked, fairy lair. I'm not gonna follow them right now. They're gonna take a little bit of time before we immediately try to encounter them. What they've just demonstrated is that they have no fear of death. And the only thing I'm scared of is death and people who have no fear of death. Someone has set up a little lakeside refreshment stand here, although from its abandoned state it doesn't quite look like there's been much refreshing going on in a while. Also, depending on where you get this random encounter, it might not be particularly near the lake. Maybe that's why. There's a meat-operated red cola cooler here though, which still looks to be in working order. Red cola, a potion for 5 max HP. Drink for your country. Pledges the label. I'm gonna check the meat return slot. Hey, it's got 5 meat in it. Now I continue on my way. I don't need that red cola. I might need that red cola. A faded sign by the side of the road says her story comes to life at the Sandwich Historical Village and Witch Trial Museum. Beneath that, in smaller print, it says, but not in the spooky or dangerous way. Location unlocked, Sandwich Trial Museum. Yeah, that sounds like the location we need to go to immediately. Alright, Sandwich Museum, what's up? The village of Sandwich was home to a terrifying witch cult until all the inhabitants were convicted and executed in witch trials in 1692, and the village stood empty and uninhabited for hundreds of years. Come explore the town and learn more! Sandwich Museum gift shop. Oh, there's a new cat! A black cat is staring glumly at an empty dish labeled Hecate. So apparently I can't give you the sardines, because I do have sardines already. An elderly woman smiles from behind the counter. Let's see what's for sale. Rubbing paper. This special piece of paper is making rubbings on historical graves and things like that. Thanks to advancements in rubbing technology, you don't even need charcoal or anything. Sandwich cream. This condiment purports to be the perfect topping for any sandwich, but the ingredients list suggests that it's just an old congealed cream. I'm gonna take the rubbing paper, absolutely. And sure, let's take a single sandwich cream. Why not? That could be useful. Shelves laden with identical jars of off-white stuff. Could have sworn there would have been something hidden behind there that I would just be able to wander my way over to. The Danforth residence has been converted into a gift shop for your convenience. Why not take home a jar of sandwich cream? That was the village's chief export, besides witchcraft. This house was the residence of the Danforth family. Step inside to learn more. Putnam House, which was partially burned down in extremely witchy circumstances. The Sandwich Museum of Putnam House has a security guard who's keeping a close eye on things in here, which honestly isn't difficult since there's only 2 things in here. I'm gonna talk to him. Hi there! Heyo! Welcome to Putnam House. Just don't touch the exhibits, okay? What do you... Excuse me, do you... sorry, I just get paid here to stand here and keep an eye on things. I actually don't know anything about those exhibits. Huh. Okay, guess that won't work. I'm gonna have to inspect them myself. Everything in this house was destroyed in the fire, except for these 2 objects, which were found concealed inside a metal box. There's an antique ragdoll on display here. We have one already in our own home. Is it similar? This ragdoll has a bunch of old pins and needles stuck into it, and for some reason, it has the word boring embroidered across its front. The little plaque on the front of the plinth says, "Witches frequently use special dolls called puppets to curse their enemies. This one was apparently made to target a Mrs. or Ms. Boring, though no one of that name is listed in the town records." And then, in tiny text at the bottom of the plaque, "The pins were not found with the puppet, but added for demonstration purposes." Interesting. This plinth has an old book on it. I'm gonna take a look at that. We're getting a lot of dates here, but not dates that exist within the Watchful Eye's newspaper archive, unfortunately. It appears to be someone's diary. Oh yeah! The little description on the front of the plinth says Diary of Delia Putnam, so that confirms that. Mostly, it doesn't look interesting enough to be worth deciphering the archaic handwriting and spelling, so you flip ahead to the last page. 6th of March, 1692.
Ugh, I hate that Peter Proctor so much. He thinks he can go around just being mean to everybody just because he has a lot of money and he lives in a big house and all. I should have used a much stronger curse. It would have been worth the trouble.
Delia? Witchcraft existed?
Did literally, was this a situation of everyone in town actually, like an arms race effectively in the arcane So one person was cursing another, so the next person needed to learn magic to curse them back, and soon everyone was witching, and everyone burned. Soon thereafter, this is what I'm seeing. We actually use this well for water, so please don't throw meat into it. Make a wish! Excellent. I'm gonna fish out some meat from people who did not read the sign. Oh yeah, you gain 18 meat. Of course. Told ya. Couple people were just not gonna see that sign. 17 more meat. Take another meat or two if you got them. 20 meat! Looks like you caught everything here. Excuse me. This is Sandwich's Church, also served as an ersatz town hall, courtroom, racquetball court, and dark sorcery place. The sign is written in rough black wax.
Today is the trial of Patricia Williams, who stands accused.
The rest of the sign is too weathered and decayed to read.
In 1692, the inhabitants of Sandwich were executed in the witch trials that were popular at the time, as evidenced by this old signpost announcing one such trial.
Remarkable how well the rest of this church stayed in condition when the stone altar burned. An old and dilapidated church altar. There are some brown splotches on the corner that could possibly be bloodstains? The altar where the town's witches performed their horrifying sacrifices. Note the bloodstains! Okay, and it confirms that there. Nice gazebo. Thanks. This leads to a little cemetery behind the church. Check it out? I'll check it out in just a second. The wealthy Proctor family owned the biggest and most conveniently toilet-adjacent house in the entire village. Down here, traces of strange plant matter in these tubs prove that they were used for brewing all kinds of horrible potions. You look in the tub, but you don't see any identifiable traces of plant matter. Guess you'll have to take the sign's word for it, though. I mean, the sign wouldn't lie, right? What motive would it have? This chessboard has clearly been left out on display as an allegory for the battle between good and evil. Black is winning, representing a warning for all good-hearted people to be vigilant against the encroaching forces of darkness. All that it takes for evil to succeed is for the good to stand by and do nothing. I'm not going to be able to directly quote that. I'll paraphrase quotes all day. I'm not going to remember direct source and citation. Absolutely not. What am I, an essay? This Aris, with a footnote next to Aris, appears to depict several important ancestors of the Proctor family line. Though due to the low resolution of the embroidery used at the time, it's impossible to discern exactly who. I checked the footnote. It has been pointed out to us that this Arras is unlikely to have been manufactured in the capital of Pas-de-Calais, department of northern France, and is therefore merely a sparkling tapestry. That's actually one of this is like I say an in joke for the house, right? Like that is a joke that caught fire and made its way around enough communities of like, if it's not from Champagne, it's just sparkling wine, right? That kind of thing. And then various corruptions of that. But I feel like that was popular like, 2.5 years ago at this point. Peek and I have been keeping up the tradition. It is one of our favorite bits. Stairs to the 2.5 floor? Well, sure, why not? According to county records, these were the most expensive stairs in the country. They go up a full 1.5 floors.
There would be one long staircase just going up and one even longer going down.
It's a line effectively from Fiddler on the Roof. The upstairs room. These stairs just keep going until they hit the wall. Seems like rich people just always had weird taste. The upstairs rooms are off limit while we catalogue the contents. Please pardon our dust. This bedroom was traditionally given to servants as it was felt, by the Proctors, that it would be far less of a tragedy if they got up in the middle of the night and fell down the stairwell. Mrs. Proctor's bedroom is especially off limits. while we figure out how to deal with the strange mold we found behind the wallpaper. Mr. Proctor's bedroom, home to the county's most expensive collection of cravats. This was the bedroom of Peter Proctor, the only child of Nicholas and Abigail Proctor. This was the Proctor's spare room, where they kept spares of all the expensive things they owned. This room is not part of the tour, and is also not part of the house. Oh, okay, my bad. I could have sworn. Well, we're gonna have to make our way out of this house, and in fact, into the cemetery in the backyard of the church, but we're gonna have to do that in another episode. For now, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Shadows of Loathing. Top left is a series playlist, YouTube recommendation down below, stream past and the names of the people who are generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays. After above the thank tier, and a special thanks this episode to Moms. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.